Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up because tonight we're diving into one of the most polarizing questions in the NBA right now. Zach LaVine is 29 years old, smack in the middle of his prime, and standing at a career crossroads. Is he about to explode into the next superstar face of the league? Or is he heading straight toward becoming another one of those painful what-if stories like Derrick Rose or Penny Hardaway? We're talking about a man with highlight reel dunks, silky jump shots, and all-star appearances, but also with knees that have already been through the wars. And in the next 5 years, the entire perception of Zach LaVine's career could flip one way or the other. So let's set the stage.
Let's rewind just a little. Over the last 3 seasons, LaVine has been consistent, dangerously consistent as a scorer. In the 2020-21 season, he dropped 27.4 points per game, 5 rebounds, and nearly 5 assists while shooting 50% from the floor and 42% from deep. That year, he looked like one of the most efficient, unstoppable scorers in the NBA, not just a dunk contest champion, but a legit bucket getter on all 3 levels.
Then came 2021-22. His numbers dipped slightly, but only slightly. 24.4 points, 4.6 rebounds, 4.5 assists, shooting 47% from the field and 39% from 3. Still all-star level. Still top-tier shooting guard numbers. 2022-23, once again, reliable, 24.8 points, 4.5 rebounds, 4.2 assists. He was right there, one of the most consistent 20-plus scorers in the entire league. And even last season, through injuries and trade chatter, LaVine put up over 23 points a game. The man is automatic offense. But here's the twist. Chicago hasn't won with him.
Since joining the Bulls in 2017, LaVine has seen 1 playoff appearance. Just 1, and it ended quickly.
That's the frustration. That's why his name is constantly in trade rumors, because everyone knows he has the talent. Everyone knows he can score 25 in his sleep, but the question is, can he do it as a leader on a winning team? And even deeper, can his body hold up long enough to let him prove it? Let's not ignore it. This past year, trade talks were loud. Stormwind plus chatter, the Lakers, interested. Lakers crowd chant, the Sixers, mentioned. Even the Nuggets, fresh off Jokic's MVP runs, were linked in whispers. Denver altitude whoosh, now the Bulls front office hasn't pulled the trigger yet, but everyone in the league is watching this situation closely. Because LaVine is one of those players who feels like he's one move away from totally rewriting his career arc. Stay in Chicago, keep putting up numbers, maybe get forgotten in mediocrity, or land on a contender and suddenly we're talking about a household playoff name. And look, let's be honest, LaVine is one of the smoothest offensive players in basketball. He can rise and dunk on your head. He can pull up from 28 feet like it's nothing. He can break you down off the dribble and glide into a silky mid-range jumper. His efficiency isn't fake either. Career 46% from the field, 38% from deep. That's legit. That's elite shot making. But the story isn't just what he does on the floor. It's whether his knees let him keep doing it. We've got to talk about the elephant in the room. LaVine's knees. In 2017, he tore his ACL while with Minnesota. That's a devastating injury for any player, especially an athletic high flyer. But credit to him, he fought back, he rebuilt his game, he actually got more skilled as a scorer post-injury. Still, the injuries didn't disappear. In 2022, he had arthroscopic knee surgery again. He missed stretches of games, he had soreness flare-ups, so when we talk about LaVine's future, we're not just projecting stats, we're projecting health. Because the difference between a superstar and a what-if story can come down to one joint, one ligament, one unlucky landing. So here's where we are. Zach LaVine is an elite scorer, a 2-time All-Star, still in his prime at 29 years old. But the Bulls are stuck in limbo. The trade rumors swirl like wildfire, and his knees are a question mark every single season. The next 5 years will decide everything. Is he Bradley Beal? Paul George? A scoring machine who ages into stardom? Or is he Derrick Rose 2.0? Explosive, brilliant, unforgettable, but ultimately undone by injuries. This is the drama. This is the debate. This is the ride we're on. All right, let's dream a little. Let's talk about what happens if everything breaks right for Zach LaVine. Because, make no mistake, he has the offensive talent to be a star on a contender. His scoring arsenal is deep. Drives, dunks, threes, mid-range, free throws, he can hurt you anywhere on the court. And the numbers prove it. Since 2019, LaVine has averaged over 23 points per game every single season. That's 5 years straight. Not streaky, not random, that's consistency. So let's line him up against some comparables. Paul George, at age 29, was averaging 28 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, playing MVP-level basketball. Bradley Beal, in his late 20s, multiple seasons over 30 points per game, carrying Washington's offense night after night. Zach LaVine is right there in that group. In fact, his shooting efficiency is better than both of those guys at the same age. He's a career 38% shooter from three, higher than George's 37% and better than Beal's 35%. That's elite spacing ability in today's NBA. Now project forward. LaVine stays healthy, finds himself on a contender, and gets to focus on being a weapon instead of carrying a rebuild.
Best case? He averages 26 to 27 points per game, 5 assists, 5 rebounds.
That's prime Paul George numbers with a little extra three-point juice. And we're not pulling this from thin air. Remember, in 2020-21, LaVine averaged 27.4 points on 50/42 shooting splits. He's already shown he can hit those superstar marks. What makes LaVine scary is the efficiency. He's not a volume chucker, he's a high-level shot maker. Last season, he hit 38% from deep on nearly 7 attempts per game. Only a handful of stars in the league combine that volume and accuracy. Guys like Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, Kyrie Irving. That's the company LaVine is in when he's dialed in. Now, imagine LaVine next to a superstar big like Joel Embiid or next to LeBron and AD in Los Angeles. He wouldn't have to carry the playmaking burden. He'd get cleaner looks, open threes, easy cuts. His true shooting could spike into the 63-64% range, which is MVP-level efficiency. And when defenses collapse on the other stars, LaVine punishes them with that quick trigger jumper. That's the version of LaVine that makes him a nightmare for any defense. And let's not ignore the defense. Look, LaVine has never been all defense, we know that. But over the last 2 seasons, his effort has improved. He's averaged over a steal per game. He uses his athleticism to stay in front more often, and he's shown flashes when locked in. On a contender, where effort matters more, that side of his game could level up too. Just like Paul George did when he matured. Picture it, Zach LaVine, 29 to 33 years old, putting up 26, 5, and 5 on elite shooting splits as the second star on a title contender. He's in the All-Star game every season. He's making an All-NBA team or two. He's hitting dagger threes in May and June instead of scoring 25 in meaningless games in February. That's the dream. That's the trajectory if health and situation align. And don't underestimate the narrative power. If LaVine gets traded to a contender and delivers, his reputation skyrockets overnight. Suddenly, he's no longer the guy stuck on the Bulls. He's the missing piece that helped win a title. That flips his legacy from borderline all-star to undeniable star.
Hi.
So the superstar path is there. The blueprint exists. He's shown the stats before. He has the efficiency. He has the skill set. All it takes is health and the right team context. And if that comes together, we're talking about Zach LaVine, future All-NBA mainstay, playoff assassin, and one of the most dangerous shooting guards of his generation. We've hyped the dream scenario. Now let's flip the script. What if things don't go right for Zach LaVine? What if the knees that have already been through hell start giving out again? Because let's be honest, that's the fear every Bulls fan has in the back of their mind. Remember, this isn't speculation. LaVine has a history. 2017, torn ACL in Minnesota. He missed nearly a full season. 2022, arthroscopic knee surgery, fluid drained, soreness lingering into the next year. Even this past season, he missed long stretches with nagging issues. That's not noise, that's reality. And history gives us brutal comparisons. Derrick Rose, explosive, MVP, unbelievable talent. Then the knees robbed him. Penny Hardaway, 6'7" point guard phenom in the 90s, injuries cut his prime in half. Even guys like Brandon Roy, walking buckets, but bodies gave out before the talent did. LaVine is walking that same tightrope. So what does the worst-case scenario look like? Instead of 25 points a night, maybe it's 18. Instead of dunking over centers, it's settling for contested jumpers because the lift is gone. Instead of being the number 2 on a contender, he's the number 3 option fighting through minutes restrictions. By 32, instead of being in all NBA talks, he's averaging 16, 3, and 3, shooting decent but no longer feared. That's the downside. That's the nightmare Bulls fans don't want to admit could happen. And it creates a brutal dilemma for the Bulls. Do you double down and believe LaVine can stay healthy long enough to lead this team somewhere? Or do you trade him now while the numbers still look shiny before the body betrays him? That's the calculation Chicago's front office is sitting with every single day. Now, reality usually lands somewhere in the middle. LaVine probably won't be Derrick Rose 2.0, but he also might not be Paul George either. He could settle in as a consistent 20 points per game scorer into his early 30s. Good, reliable, but not the centerpiece of a championship team. That's not failure, but it's not the superstar arc either. So, here we are, the verdict. 2 paths, one glittering, one grim. And the truth is, we don't know which one is coming. 5 years from now, Zach LaVine could be hoisting a trophy as the second star on a finals team. Or 5 years from now, he could be a cautionary tale, a guy who once dropped 27 a night but never truly broke through. So, Bulls fans, NBA fans, you tell me.
Will Zach LaVine be remembered as a Chicago legend who rose to greatness? Or will he be remembered as another electrifying talent who never made it out of the rebuild alive? That's the debate, that's the drama, that's why every LaVine highlight means more now than ever before. Comment below. Is LaVine a future All-NBA lock? Or a trade waiting to happen? Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and join us for more deep dives on the NBA's biggest what-ifs and superstars in the making. Because Zach LaVine's story isn't finished, it's just getting started.